Alright, hold on to your seats, because I'm about to take you through the Hunger Games. Now, if you've somehow avoided the entire franchise so far, let me just say, get ready for a story where kids are literally forced to fight each other to the death, and you'll be rooting for them because, well, it's the only way they're going to survive. Fun, right? So let's talk about the most random and twisted thing in this movie right off the bat. Can you believe that the government in this dystopian world called Panem, which is basically a fancy name for a post-apocalyptic United States, has this sick tradition where they take 2 kids from each of the 12 districts and force them into an arena to battle for survival? It's called the Hunger Games, and trust me, the only thing hungry about it is the people watching, because they're just waiting for these kids to die. Isn't that just so charming? Now, let me introduce you to the real star of the show, Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, the girl who literally volunteers to take her sister's place in the Hunger Games. I know, you're probably thinking, wait a second, she volunteered to go fight to the death instead of her sister? What kind of messed up logic is that? But here's the thing, Katniss is a boss. She's from District 12, the poorest district, and she's been hunting for food in the woods since she was a kid. I'm talking about hunting with a bow and arrow like Legolas on steroids. But instead of saving the princess, she's saving her sister from a bloody, televised death match. The real MVP. Am I right? So, now we have the Reaping, a public event where kids are randomly chosen to fight in the games. The first shocker, Katniss's little sister, Prim, is chosen. And that's when Katniss does the unthinkable, she volunteers. It's the ultimate I'll do anything for family moment. And sure, it's a nice gesture, but we all know what's coming. She's about to be thrust into a world where kids kill other kids just to survive. And yet, somehow, you're sitting there cheering her on because, hey, she's tough as nails and knows how to survive better than anyone. Then, the real chaos begins. The tributes, that's what they call the kids, are taken to the Capitol, and this is where the movie takes a wild turn. Think District 12 is bad? Wait until you see the Capitol. Imagine a world where people wear enough makeup to make you question every life decision you've ever made, where everyone is so over the top and ridiculous it's almost comical. It's basically the future version of the Kardashians if they got rich off of literally everything but being talented. They're all obsessed with beauty and fashion. Meanwhile, kids are fighting to the death. But hey, priorities, right? Now, Katniss gets prepped for the games, and it's like she's going on a really messed up reality show. There are interviews, flashy outfits, and all the hoopla you can imagine. And then the tributes are shoved into an arena, and they start fighting each other in the most intense way possible. If you think they just hand out bows and arrows, think again. There's a whole bunch of strategic alliances, weapons, and even poisonous berries that make you want to shout at the screen, "Why would you eat that?" The most random part? When Katniss doesn't just play the game by their rules. She doesn't try to win in the usual kill everyone else and be the last person standing way. No, she's got a whole different plan. She plays the Capitol's game with their own rules. She gets the whole world rooting for her by simply surviving and looking badass while doing it. So here's the twist. While everyone's expecting Katniss to just kill her competitors, she becomes this symbol of rebellion, of hope for the oppressed districts. The whole world is watching her, and she's kind of like the anti-celebrity. She doesn't care about being adored. She just cares about surviving, and she uses the game to send a message. Now, let's talk about Peeta Mellark, played by Josh Hutcherson, because he's the other half of this equation. He's the guy who's supposed to be Katniss's ally in the arena, but plot twist, they fall in love. Or do they? Can you even trust that love in the Hunger Games? Is it real? Or just part of the Capitol's manipulation to make everyone care more about the two of them? Here's where the movie gets you questioning everything. Because Peeta has a plan, and let's just say it involves a lot of lying about who he really is. And even when it seems like he's going to sacrifice himself for her, you're sitting there thinking, is he faking it for the cameras? It's basically the ultimate love triangle, but with a deadly twist. And let's not forget the other tributes. These kids, yeah, some of them are just out for blood. Some are trained killers and others, well, others are just trying to stay alive like Katniss. But in the end, it's about strategy, alliances, and just plain surviving. Because while you might start the game thinking it's all about the fame and glory by the end, you realize it's all about who's left standing. So let's ask the real question. Can you ever really win the Hunger Games? Because by the end, Katniss has made a name for herself, but not in a way she ever wanted. She's a symbol of hope and rebellion, and now, everyone is watching her. She might have survived, but what she didn't expect was the emotional cost, the toll it takes on her heart, her relationships, and her humanity. So yeah, you get the thrill of the action, the suspense of who's going to make it out alive, but you're also left with a haunting thought. Is it worth it to fight for survival in a world that's this messed up? So go ahead, watch The Hunger Games, and then try to tell me you didn't immediately go down the rabbit hole, questioning every single thing about this crazy world. Because once you're in, you're hooked. You'll be thinking about how you'd survive, who you'd form an alliance with, spoiler alert. It's probably Katniss, and whether or not you'd eat those deadly berries. It's an experience, my friend, and it's one you won't forget.